All right, so that was just for me just to line this stuff up, but we're good now. We're ready to go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. So remember, I said 12 o'clock was the time we're going to start, but a lot of times when we're just like shooting the breeze and kicking it from here,
Yeah.
it's more natural, and it happens the way it needs to happen.
Now I love it, man. I mean, coming from a warm up, like you said, it's nothing better than when you're out there in the gym, you get your warm up and you get your stretch and you get your little light reps in there with just the bar, and before you know it, you're ready to, you know, go in and get that nice workout in. So I know exactly what it is. Gets you comfortable, no nervousness, and you're ready to go.
Right, 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 man. I'm feeling good. I sent you a questionnaire earlier, and that was just basically a rough draft of what we're going to be talking about and discussing
Okay.
because I wanted to link it somehow to the Palisades event and what's going on now because that's a historical event, and also still back to the CEO shooting when it comes to the insurance because people have their misconceptions about insurance, and this misconception is starting to become trendy. And I wanted to get your take on it and talk to you about it, being someone coming from the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to all this stuff, at the end of the day, we have our a new platform that on many platforms out there that allow people to, you know, be in the now to where they're able to know exactly what's going on in life, right? You know, before people even head out to work, they already know exactly what's going on because social media is one of the first things they look at when they get up, you know, and everyone knows what's going on. And sad to say, some of these events that are taking place, you know, a lot of people have their own takes on it and why it's taking place, and you know exactly what's the main reason behind it. And at the end of the day, everyone is going to speculate, but nature has a lot to do with it too at times, and sometimes could be something that can be provoked or created by human hands, you know. But you never know exactly what it is until you get to the final um, result of investigations or what have you. But even then, you know, the power to be will say, you know what, this is exactly what happened, and we're gonna go with that, right?
So, Will, can you share a little bit about your experience in industry, in the insurance industry?
Well, it all started, you know, about 7, 8 years ago when, you know, the retail industry was uh, was in the beginning of where brick and mortar stores were closing, right? So back then, Toys R Us is closing. You know, a few other stores before that started to close. And then I got into the finance world where insurance is one of the many things that you know I do on a day to day basis, right? And getting into insurance to me was a perfect thing to do at the time because I come from that world to where I believe in, you know, tomorrow is never promised. So let's make sure we prepare for it. So how do you prepare for it? By ensuring everything that is near and dear to your heart.
So that's how you got into the industry straight from coming from retail.
Yeah, 20 years of retail and basically servicing the public all those years. You know, even goes back further down to when I was a child growing up in my parents' business and my family business that's still to this day running. You know, I was always catering to the public. So being able to see changes and impact in lives to me was like, you know what? I love doing this already. You know, retail is, you know, it's what it was back then, and I'm glad I'm able to give more of me to the people, you know, in our community, and being able to do something that really means something to them.
Okay, so as far as insurance, what are some of the common trends in insurance that you're seeing right now?
Well, as far as trends go, you get a lot of like e- events, such as like I'll give you back 4 years ago when the pandemic was going. That's one of the busiest times I've ever seen in my line of work, because everyone sometimes reacts to deadlines and and panic when it comes to like needs at the moment. Like, what if I'm one of those parents that is no longer here for my family tomorrow? Like, as you saw, so many people were scared to leave their house because they were passing away. So when it comes to like people, people do a lot of things because they follow what's going on. Like if there's a trend going on, people follow that trend, and they, okay, so and so is doing this. Sometimes if a celebrity's promoting something, they're gonna jump on that because a celebrity's doing it. But if it's a life event that's taking place in the whole entire world, you know, people start to make it more of a priority when it should have been done prior to that, right?
Mm.
So it's not good to wait until something does happen to go out there and get the things that, you know, unfortunately sometimes people cannot get because they waited too long.
Right. Now you're talking about life insurance in particular, all insurance. This can go for all insurance, but your area of expertise is what particular insurance? Is it all of them or life insurance?
I'm very, very familiar with all insurance, but my expertise is life insurance.
Okay.
But when it comes to a lot of things, like let's take a look for example. Let's say when all the flooding took place down in Louisiana, right? Although a lot of people lost their homes, a lot of people lost their lives, right? So people think to react when things are happening like that. So right away they want to take a look at their insurance and read their contract to make sure they're protected for all the things that those people were not protected on.
Okay.
So they want to prevent things like that from happening to them. So they're looking at their contracts closer, right? But let's not wait until something happens like that to look at our contracts closer. It should be reviewed every year, just like when you renew your car insurance every year, right?
Right.
It should be it should be reviewed. We should take at least an hour a year to review anything insurance that needs to be renewed, or anything that it's you know has a meaning to us, that's gonna one day be able to give us some type of mental peace, so that way financially we're okay.
Right. I like the way you put that. I didn't. I like the way you put it in time. You said take 1 hour a year because is that when the insurance typically changes or they renew every year? So you're taking 1 hour a year to read something that's so very important to you.
Yeah, I mean, I personally myself, I have a I have a promise to all my clients, right? And sometimes they don't want to do a review because they already felt that the year before everything was clear to them. So if it's not something that's coming into a and then like there's some things in insurance that last a specific amount of years. So like give an example. Within the first 3 years, you can increase your insurance if health wise you were great when you first opened it. So you can double it up. If you started out 1 million, you can get another million before year three comes to an end, without having to submit yourself to another health health exam. Like if you're doing good health wise and you started $1 million protection policy 3 years ago, you can double it up
You're right.
without having to, you know, go through a blood work or urine and all that stuff, right? But if you do not have that year to year touch base with your insurance agent or your firm, whoever the broker firm you're dealing with, there's a lot of things that will come to a surprise. So you will get a letter in the mail and say, Ron, unfortunately, on the next renewal period, we're not going to renew your policy. Some, car insurance or home insurance companies are doing that.
Right.
So they're able to drop you as a client, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Now, can you
but it
shop?
all
Can you shop for other insurance? Can you shop for more insurance?
yeah, when it comes to shopping for insurance, I highly encourage everyone to, when they doing their review, whether it's a life insurance policy or home insurance or car insurance policy, when they're doing that review on a yearly basis, they can shop around to where they see exactly where, they might be better savings. There might be a better company. There might be someone that can just be there available for you when you need them, right? Especially when it comes to the car insurance and the home insurance industry. Those things are very crucial for you to be informed of what's going on with all the policies, because every year you do a renewal, surprisingly, you get a higher increase on a payments than a decrease, depending on what's going on in the insurance world or in a specific state that you live in. Because a lot of those things change based on state to state too.
Can they take so they take things out? Say the renewal, they can take things out. Well, they say they can, but they take things out without you knowing. It's up to you to read. So this is like a personal responsibility thing. Are they not? Are they not going to make you aware, like Mr. West? By the way, the insurance is a little different this time around. We're taking this off. Do they let you know that,
Well,
or that's something you would have to read yourself?
before any insurance company takes you off insurance or removes a specific item within your contract, they have to notify you by law. So
Okay.
they do this within a 90 to 60-day communication via mail. Sometimes it might be via email because some people just want to, go green, right? And they don't they sign online for the communication between you and the companies to be a email based type of thing. But a lot of people's lives are so tight within the day to day work, kids, home projects, whatever you have going on. They might miss a letter that they didn't read, and they're not gonna go back and say, well, you know, you didn't read that letter. Now it's like we told you that this was going coming off, but you never replied back to the letter. So
All right.
that way you know exactly where you are. So they're very good when it comes to that. Every insurance company will always send you communication via mail, whether it's email or regular mail, so that way you're aware of what's about to take place.
So there's a big misconception right there that you just clarified for me. It's a fact, and it could be ascertained that every insurance company, before they drop you and lessen your coverage for whatever reason, they notify you within 60 days.
60 to 90 days.
60 to 90 days. So that's a fact. So a lot of
That is
so when people are talking about, oh, the insurance company dropped me, I didn't even know. Is it possible now the way their communication goes, like you were saying, some people they go green, so that means it's just going to come through email, right?
or it could be that it could be a lot of things. It could be, let's say during the pandemic, a lot of mail didn't get to people because they didn't have the manpower to have all the mail to be delivered on time.
Mm,
So those things can probably be an excuse of why you didn't read that piece of mail. But nowadays we're 2025 right now. Everyone has a login on a platform, whether it's a website or an application. Like we have an application already that that we launched last year. So now you can go on that application and see everything there is to know about your financial portfolio,
mm.
whether it's insurance, whether it's retirement, whether it's long-term care, whether it's disability. Everything you within your portfolio is within that application. And a lot of companies, you know, big companies out there will have a platform where you can log in and make changes to your policy live. So where you can, drop some things and add some things. Obviously, depending on what you do, it'll it'll go ahead and reduce or increase your premium. But when you do those things, they will still send you confirmation, Mr. West. I see that today you change your bank account. Now, this is the new account that we're going to draft from. So now they know that they're notifying you, even if you change your username or your password, you get an email. I'm pretty sure you've done that with other things,
Right.
and then making sure that, was this you that made this change? All right, just like a bank, if you make a charge that is higher than what you're accustomed to charging, they'll send you an email. Like Chase sends me an email if I spend anything above 500. So now that I'm being protected in
Right.
case someone is, you know, took my card or I lost my card or something like that.
So well, let me ask you, how does life insurance tie into to health insurance?
Well, when it comes to health insurance, it's in life insurance in itself, they both have a big part that it plays in. And what really drives it the most is your health, right? You can be a healthy individual no matter how old you are, but if you're not in good health, you might not qualify for life insurance. There's some type of, age that plays in. If you're above 50 and you're uninsurable, you can get guaranteed life insurance out there up to the age of 80. But the sooner, the better for you to get started with life insurance.
Yeah.
After a child is 15 days of being born, they can get a life insurance policy right away. And that policy can carry that child for the rest of their life. They will be paying the same premium all the way up to age 100
So well,
because
let me
there's
ask
no.
you. Sorry, let me ask you a question. Life insurance. Let's say you had to use it. So if you meaning not you had to use it, you pass away, you die. You only know whether or not you would never know whether life insurance paid out because you passed away. But with health insurance, the moment you have an issue with health insurance, you can see exactly what the insurance company is gonna do and how they're gonna move. Like for example, I
Well,
remember you were telling me the other day, and I thought about this, and I was like, wow, that's interesting. You said, say you have life insurance, and you told life insurance you were a non-smoker, and you die of cancer because of smoking, lung cancer. How does something like that play out?
well, it all goes with transparency of you knowing exactly what's in your contract. Every company will have different clause in insurance. They have different rules and regulation. One company might have this, another company might have that. Like there were companies that during the pandemic, they did not pay out death benefits to those that passed away because of the quote unquote pandemic. It's something that no one saw coming. So where it took people by the millions. And now they those companies in their contract had those situations there, like 9/11. Some companies washed their hands with 9/11. They didn't pay out some death benefits because it was in the contract. Terrorist attack.
It
Well,
was
we're
wow.
not paying
It was
out that.
actually in the contract. That's actually in the contract.
Correct. Um, when it comes to life insurance specifically, right? That's you will see a book. If I may, I can get a book so I can show you what
Yeah,
kind of looks like,
yeah.
right?
Go ahead, please. Remember, guys, if you like this content, please hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Plan to bring you more things just like this, more informative
So
information.
so this is a life insurance book, right? And in this book, obviously, there's a name there, there's a policy number, right? So let's block that off. So that way there's no one's name being shown on a platform here. So here's to be somebody's name and the policy number, right? Now, this this here has about 250 pages. Now, when they give you a 250-page book, let's be honest, how many people will take their time and read a 250-page book?
Now, I don't think many. That's where you're going with this, right?
But I'm gonna ask you this: if I gave you a suggestion for a book, The Power of Now, you want to listen to it or will you want to read it?
I would probably want to listen to it.
But when you listen to it, the amount of hours that will take you to go through that whole entire book, I've been through that book 3 times already. The amount of hours that it consumes from you, it can be anything from 5 to 7 hours. Okay. Why I say 5 to 7? Because if you do it without interruptions, you can do it in 5 hours. But how long will you think it will take you to go to 250 pages of a contract that is important to you and your family?
Mm. Now that's actually reading it. You have to read it. So there is no audio version of the contract.
No, not in when not when it comes to life insurance or any policies, right? But the point I'm trying to make to you here is what's attractive to a human and us as people, and what's priority to us. Sometimes we put on a back burner because we feel as we don't need to look at that for another 20 years, or we don't look at that into another 30 years, or we don't have to look at that ever because it's for life, or I'm already done paying this and I did it for 5 years and I'm protected for life. So there's a lot of different options when it comes to insurance, but not car insurance or home insurance. Those things are renewable every year.
Right.
Some of them are renewable every 6 months. So it all depends on, exactly what kind of insurance we're talking about. So those are very, very good things to know, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Sometimes it might, let's just say you go to Target and you buy a George Foreman grill. That George Foreman grill comes with a protection plan, as you might know from coming from retail. That protection plan can protect that George Foreman grill for 2 years. You might have the option to buy it for 5 years. But, normally people say, you know what, I don't want that. But then to return that item, it can take a 60-day to 30 days, right? If you try to return it and it's broken, you know, they might take it back or might not.
Right.
But if you have the replacement plan on it, they will give you a new one, no questions asked. Go grab it off the shelf, and that's it, done. That's peace of mind. Why? Because it was insured. Insurance is by far one of the words that in when it comes to us, right? The word insurance to you, what does it mean to you?
Right.
You go to sleep, you close your eyes, and if you have something that's up to date and is insured, tomorrow something happens, it'll be replaced, right? If it's a material thing,
Right.
one thing, things you can now replace is someone's life, right?
And I had a recent an event with insurance because last year I thought I was on my wife's insurance. I wasn't on her insurance. So every time I text the doctor, it was $100, $100 every single time. Yeah, every time. And I said to myself, I couldn't wait to get insurance. I couldn't wait. And I look at insurance like that. Say if you get into a car accident and you don't have enough money to take care of these expenses that's going to happen. They can break you for life. Some of the things you get into a bad car accident and somebody sues you, you can be caught stuck paying that money for years. If you have insurance, insurance is there to cover you. Perhaps that's what I'm thinking because now that you're saying this, there's a lot of things that need to be read. You have to do a lot of reading when it comes to this insurance. That's important.
Yeah, reading is like I say before, right? I'm pretty sure you heard this pretty much. Reading is fundamental, right?
I get it.
So if if you're not reading on a daily basis, you know, anytime we look at anything that has a meaning to you, right? You want to read on it, right? You don't want to just take someone's word for it. You want to make sure you do your research before you say, okay, that makes sense. Let's do it, right?
Hmm?
Sometimes it takes years before someone commits to a life insurance policy with me. I have people that I know for years that it took them 3, 4, 5 years to become a client. Some of them family members. But a lot of it has to do with prioritizing your needs, and a lot of it has to do with, you know, I want to do my own research. Like with all due respect, they know I know exactly what is it that they need to find out, but they want to know. They want to find out for themselves. A lot of times, people would trust Google, then they would trust one of us because they feel like I could type anything into Google right now, and it'll be about maybe 100 different uh, options or 100 different things that people have, ratings on, and they go with that, right?
And I look at it from the money perspective and how life insurance you have talk about the premium of insurance period and how that works because it seems like I don't know, but it seems like it goes like this. I have a bunch of people that pay the premium and that's just to have the insurance so you're covered. But if anything were to happen, I take care of the situation from all of the premiums that I'm able to collect in case something does happen. So meaning if there's a catastrophic event and a bunch of people get affected at one time, I don't have any money as an insurance company to take care of all of these people, even if I wanted to. So talk about that a little bit in the term the reinsurance and how that works.
So here's the thing: an insurance company, right? Whether it's car insurance, home insurance, any type of insurance company, right? They will insure everything that they have to insure that if the day of tomorrow came and everything was wiped out, that company still will be able to be afloat. So it's very important for you to know a company's surplus. Have you
Oh,
ever heard of
wait,
that
wait,
before?
wait, wait. No, no, yeah. That went over my head. Explain that again.
A surplus, right, is equivalent to the amount of money a company has to back themselves even after they pay everyone else, right? So I'll give you this one because I know it, right? My company's surplus is 32 billion. So when someone says surplus, that means that if tomorrow we were to pay everyone that passed away that is a client, anyone that has retirement money in our company, we pay all those people off, we will still have $32 billion to continue as a company.
Mm. And
So
where could you get that information? Where could you get that surplus information from?
it's public information. So right now you go to Google and say, what is New York Life surplus? Type it in.
Let's see.
You Google that. Or you can Google State Farm surplus, or you can Google any type of company you want to know insurance wise, right?
What is their surplus?
Because
And this goes for all type of insurance, car insurance, health insurance.
yes,
All right.
yes, you can type in State Farms. Last time I looked at State Farms, they were about 130 billion in surplus, meaning that they will pay every single claim there is of all those insurance clients they have, and they will still be afloat. They don't. They're not gonna go bankrupt if they have an event like the pandemic or an event like the Palisades.
So
A
I see
company,
something
an
that
insurance.
says um, could result in a $5.2 billion bird. Or it says 87.6 billion. State Farm PC Group companies reported earning premium of 87.6 billion. That's the earnings for the premium. What does that mean?
Earnings of premium is what what they're making out of the people that are paying their policies.
Okay.
So a company also declares their earnings every year, right?
Yeah. It looks like it says 1.1 trillion. No, Internet Force.
There's a lot of things, when it comes to that. It's like the P&L, profit and loss for every company has a P&L, right?
Right. It doesn't.
So
It looks like a lot of money.
when
I can't find it right now. It'll probably take me a while to just search through it. But I do see now, like there's a lot of money that comes from the the premiums. I didn't think it was that much. That seems
it
like
is a
that's enough
lot,
to take care to take care of people alone with just what they
yes,
collected in the premiums.
but Ron, let me ask you this question, right? I did before we jumped on our meeting. I had a policy that I did for one of my new clients, right? $750,000. A 32-year-old female. She's paying. She has a $750,000 policy for $48. That client dies tomorrow. We have to cut a check to $750,000 to her husband. So when it comes to insurance, whatever type of insurance it is, you want to make sure you take a look at what is the risk that I'm taking versus the risk that that company is taking on my life or my home or my car, right? So you can go 10 years without having an accident, right? And all those premiums that you paid during those 10 years, you might sit down and say, wow, I pay, $10,000 to State Farm those 10 years. And I never had an accident. You know, do you feel that when you quit your policy, they should send you back a check for some type of money because you never had an accident?
Me, no, but there are people out there who do feel this way.
Exactly. So a lot of people ask the questions, oh, I'm going to pay this policy for 30 years. What happened in year 30 if I don't pass away? Well, you had a contract with us that protected your life for 30 years. We had a risk of $1 million. You had a risk of $30,000. So you gave us 30,000 in exchange of protecting your life for $1 million in case you pass away.
As soon as you start talking the money part of it, I like that. I don't know what it is, but that makes sense. It makes sense.
It
It's
would
the
make
risk.
sense. It would make sense, and it's sad to say the most when you know someone that recently lost a loved one and they had life insurance or they didn't have life insurance, right? Because the conversations would be completely different, right? One, financial burden and also emotional burden. The other one, emotional burden, zero financial burden, right? So that burden is what we need to make sure that we plan and prepare for. I had a client that was messaging me earlier about a retirement plan that she's about to activate for 3 years from now. That plan gets activated, she gets an income of $500 a month for the rest of her life. Even if the money runs out, as long as she's alive, we will have to pay her
Well,
five hundred dollars.
I have to ask one question because as you're saying it, I'm like, that sounds almost too good to be true. The young lady, I don't want to get into her business too much. So you mean to tell me a $700,000 policy costs $48 a month? Is that best case scenario or is that typical?
The base case scenario will cost her $37 a month, but we're assuming that she's in better health than the normal average person is. And
Okay.
a lot of it has to do with so many components, Ron. Like let's say you're six 6'1", right? And you are 170 pounds. If you had someone that was your identical twin brother, but your twin brother has the same height, but he's 220 pounds, he's gonna pay more for insurance than you will.
For
Why?
30 years until that policy is over.
Or whatever, or whatever years it is, but it all depends on his health rating. It all depends on his, you know, his BMI, right? You know about BMI because
Right.
you're into fitness, right? So a lot of parts, a lot of things will take parts when it comes to underwriting. Just like when you do underwriting for, for car insurance or home insurance, they take a look at, is that a flood zone area, or they take a look at your driving record, to see if how many accidents you have, to see if you're a reckless driver. All those things come into perspective when it comes to underwriting. So underwriting is extremely crucial, right? So you and your wife could be the same age, and you can have a same BMI, great, right? Maybe you did not know that, but you know this today. She will pay less than you. Why? Because she's a female. A female life expectancy is 3 to 4 years longer than ours.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Now I do. Now I do. That's some good information. So let me
Life
ask you:
expect
Is it
Yeah, go ahead.
is there a way you could? Because now I'm always thinking about strategizing. Is there a way you could strategize life insurance? Like you get life insurance when you're in the best shape of your life. Now you apply for life insurance so you can get locked into that good life insurance for X amount of years while you're in the best shape of your life, as opposed to
That's
like to your
another.
BMI, to the BMI thing that you were talking about. Like you say, damn, I'm in the best shape of my life. Let me go ahead and jump on this life insurance now so I can get it for like you were talking about $37 a month.
Yeah. So to that point, right? The best time to get life insurance is today, right? Why today? Because even if you're not in the best shape of your life and you have plans to be in the best shape of your life in the near future, you can have other things that might change in your health. So then now, when you felt that you are in the best shape of your life, and you go through the underwriting medical, the exams that come with that, there's something that might change for the worse. So you can always start, you know, let me rephrase that. Some companies will allow you to do that, right? You can start, let's say for my company, well, you can start as a, smoker today, right? But I encourage you, just like I do to everyone that's my client, and they can attest to that. I encourage you, Ron, quit smoking. And next year, we can reevaluate your contract, and they will do a blood and urine exam. And then you can come back from a being a smoker to a non smoker. Now, your premium will be drastically reduced because now you gave up cigarettes. And we proved it through the medical that you're no longer smoking.
No, well, now what if
So now you,
people real quick about the cigarettes now? Because I remember, what if people are smoking marijuana and that's in their blood? How does their life insurance view that versus cigarettes?
a lot of it depends on why they're doing it, right? They're doing it for recreational purposes, and it's not in anywhere to prove that they're doing it, you know, then they're not looking for that. A life insurance company is not concerned about that.
Okay, and that's good to know. And that's a soundbite that's good to know for people because with the legalization of marijuana, you have people that's using marijuana left and right. And when you said
But
blood and urine, they're not looking for marijuana. They're looking for what are they looking
they're
for?
looking for they're looking for nicotine. They're looking for blood levels, things of that nature. Your blood pressure. They're looking for risk stuff, right? Now, if you are someone that enjoys marijuana, nowadays is legal, right? And you feel that that's what you're gonna do, and you're not gonna be private about it, you should disclose it.
Wait, say it again.
Why?
You cut off.
If you're someone that's indulging in marijuana, you enjoy it, it's part of your life, right? And it's everywhere that everyone knows you're doing it, including your doctor, right? You might want to consider, I highly encourage you get a medical card. Now, with your medical card, does not hinder you when you apply for life insurance because it's there. It shows that you're doing it for medical purposes.
I was like, give you air pound, bro. Like that's an air pound right there, man. Because see, those are the things that people just don't know. So they scared of these things because like, oh, it's gonna cost me an arm and a leg. I don't know, but that's amazing to figure out. I didn't know that. That's new information for me.
So there's one thing that people always have misconception on when it comes to the cost of any insurance. But you need to get an estimate. You need to get a quote. Get quotes and estimates, and based on who you feel comfortable with as a company, or do you have an agent that like myself, that you can call at any time, and that person is going to answer every question you have. And it might be from my world of insurance, or it might be another question that has nothing to do with my profession, the knowledge that I have over the years, not only because of age, but also because of experience. Or if I don't have the answer to your question, I'm gonna find it because I have other professionals like yourself that I surround myself with, that I trust, and they can give you advice on those things, right?
Right. Right. Wow. Wow. I was thinking about something. I read something the other day, and I was wondering, especially when it came to when you were talking about the bodies and COVID and insurance companies. I don't know what company you said this. Basically, said we can't pay out when things like that happen. And somebody would say, well, how often is the COVID event or something like that going to happen? And I recently read something that was talking about individuals choosing not to get vaccinated anymore. Like there's a lot of people that are choosing not to get vaccinated anymore. And I was just thinking about in the future, and that scared the hell out of me because I'm one
So,
that think you
so
should get vaccinated.
I give you a fact. There was companies out there that were not taking any applications during COVID. There were companies out there that were asking if you got vaccinated or not. Some of them were not taking your application if you were not vaccinated. Some of them,
Interesting. That is very
yeah.
interesting. Now, you see, now if there was like, because people like to do these conspiracy theories and that. Now, if there was something wrong, crazy with getting vaccinated, period. Because I'm talking about just not even just vaccinated from COVID, but there are individuals when babies are born, it's decided not to get vaccinated, period. There's a lot of people that are starting to do that, and now because Trump and I think Kennedy spreading false information about vaccinations. So if we get a country that starts to say like, you know what, everybody's 50-50. I don't want to get vaccinated. Some people get vaccinated. That's a scary thing. Life insurance is going to be very, very, very important, I think.
So vaccinations are should be a choice, in my personal opinion. However, depending on where you want to be in life, you might not be able to register for college. I give you a life situation that happened to me last semester with my son. My son was not able to register in Seton Hall because there was a vaccine that he needed to take. You know, it was not COVID related or anything like that. It was something like um, I forget exactly what it was, but in order for him to register, he needed to show proof that that vaccine was in his file. We even got the vaccine for free at the college grounds.
So while they
So,
weren't going to let him go to college,
but here's the thing, also, and it's public information. You know this by now too. You have children, right?
yeah,
You have a child.
yes,
So there's it's a vaccination chart that your doctor does, right? And all that stuff. And if your child is doesn't have all that up to date, some public schools do not allow your child to register,
right.
right or wrong.
Right, absolutely. This is becoming an overwhelming thing now, and it ties into when I before I got on today, I was just doing reading. I was like, oh, I can't wait to ask Will about this, and it ties into life insurance, right? If individuals now, because of all of the information that's out, right, information whether it's misinformation, it's the correct information, wrong information, it's information. People take information vital. If people listen to some of the information about not getting vaccinated, more people aren't going to get vaccinated, and later on, I don't know how many years down the line, it could be a very contagious type of society. Now, how is life insurance going to like be ahead of that? Are they going to take care of somebody if they die from I don't know some old type of disease like I don't know polio or something?
Well, it all depends on what it is. So I'll give you another example of underwriting, right? So today you apply for life insurance and we submit an application. There's a few questions I will ask you. Based on that, those questions I'll ask you, if I get all those questions to be exactly how they should be, I can tell you, Ron, this is great information. You're in good shape for health wise. You have a temporary insurance you can apply, you can choose to take during the application process. It will protect your life and it also protects your insurability. Now, are you familiar with insurability?
No, when you said insurability, that was the first time I heard that term.
Okay, insurability means that if you're healthy enough, right, and you apply for life insurance, and tomorrow you go to the doctor because of an emergency and you have chest pains, right? And it has happened already. You have chest pains, you go to the urgent care or care station, right? So now they find out that you have issues with your heart. On that contract that you chose to take, because you say, yes, I want to take that, you requires a first premium, you pay that first premium, and now you're taken to the ER, and now you have a new condition. If it's a new condition and it's in a pre-existing condition, something that was prior in your medical records, a company cannot decline you a claim. They cannot say, well, he didn't disclose that he has heart problems, but nowhere in your records prior to that day shows that you were having issues with heart until the day after you apply. Now it's proven that it's a new thing. So as long as it's not pre-existing and you kept it secret, there's a 2 year contestability period. Every insurance life insurance company has that
What's it
2 year
called?
contestability 2 year contestability period.
Contestability. Okay.
So now what that means is you apply for life insurance and within the 2 years you pass away. If there is something that you did not disclose and you kept secret that we can prove that it's in your records, but you somehow hid it from us, if that's proven there that it shows that it was there, you didn't disclose it, a company has the right to decline your claim because you kept it a secret.
Well, when people talk about the life insurance or any insurance getting denied, or it's always, not always, I don't know, but like I'm able to follow it now. Like I can see why an insurance company would say, you didn't tell us about this. This is kind of like a setup, you know? Basically, it seems like you were gonna possibly pass away within the next couple of years. You signed up for the insurance. You didn't tell us about it, and boom, now you got this $700,000 policy for X amount of money, knowing that you weren't the healthiest individual.
There's people out there that have been, unfortunately, I've been through those situations where they apply and they had a terminal illness and they felt like they might have get away with it. They go through the process, lo and behold, decline within days because it's in the database. There's a database of just like there is a database for your driving record.
The
There's a
LexisNexis, right? That LexisNexis stuff.
Well, that's a specific company that can freeze your record for a specific amount of days until you could call them and they can unblock it.
Okay.
So they can see that. But when it comes to life insurance and you apply, anything that's within your medical records is protected by HIPAA laws, right? HIPAA laws protect your privacy for your medical records. But when you apply for life insurance, you sign a waiver for that specific company to get into your records. So now we're able to see everything that's disclosed. So
Wow.
you know, nothing can be hidden unless someone went outside of the country and did something that no one knows about.
Wow. Wow.
But everything that's done in the dark comes to the light. So a lot of times people feel like, oh, I'm gonna go to another country and get surgery, and no one is gonna know, right? But there's proof that you went somewhere. There's your passport. There's social media that people.
Well, okay, so let's take that for example. So a woman goes and gets some surgery out of country, and let's say something happens to her, and within the next couple of years she passes away, and she has life insurance, and she never like tell anybody she went to another country to have whatever type of surgery she wanted, cosmetic surgery. Would a life insurance look into that, something like that? Would that be something that has to be looked into as far as her going overseas and getting surgeries?
It all depends on the timing, right? So, like I told you before, 2 years go by, they're not looking at it.
Okay.
So she's already past the 2 years. They did something new, you know.
But within those 2 years, they're looking at everything.
They look at everything, yes, but if there's something that they cannot prove in the eyes of the law, you know, people do things that, unfortunately, you hear it all. People do things in at their home because they feel that so and so was a doctor in another country, and now they're, out there doing injections on somebody because they feel that they qualify for it and they have all the right to do so.
Right.
But then now that person passed away because of that specific procedure, how can you prove it? The autopsy would tell a lot, but the records are very powerful too.
Right.
So as long as there's no foul play within someone passing, and it's after the 2 year contestability period, then the insurance company should pay out. However, there's other companies out there, or companies out there that have different rules and regulations within their contract. So it's very important. Once again, reading that contract.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
an hour. Take an hour a year. Every year, take an hour with your agent or a representative from whatever company it is. Because sometimes people get insurance and they get it online, but you know they didn't read the contract. It says it right there on the contract that we reserve the right to do X, Y, Z. Um, I give you something that's very very simple. Like this might be something very you know new to you, or might be something you know already. Years ago, I moved into a complex, and when I went to renew the lease on that specific complex, they say that they reserve the right to increase your rent from 4 to 18%. Now, if you didn't read that and they increase your rent to 18%, you have the choice to stay or go, right?
Right.
But if they really wanted you out, they might increase it to 18% because they know your finances and they basically rather you leave. But it all depends on a specific contract. Everything that's in the contract
Right.
is not is something that if you don't know and it's there, you signed it. There's
That's it.
nothing that they can do about it.
One of the things I got from this conversation today is very important to read all of your contracts when it comes to any insurance that you have. It's very important. As soon as the renewal comes, you should take that time out. It's probably an hour a year to read over that, and that information is very important. So, Wilman, where can people find you?
Well, I'm available in social media. A lot of people that know me know already that I'm available via Facebook. Um, and if you cannot find me via Facebook, they can also go to a website that I can share with you,
Yeah, share with.
and that website will bring them straight to my New York Life website, and they can reach me directly from there, or they can get my phone number, which is also public. It's in LinkedIn, Facebook as well. Um, but here's another thing too. Sitting down with someone like me is free. You and I can sit down for 2 to 3 hours and go over things that you have questions on, or discussing a specific solution that you have interest on. You and I can hang up the phone or end up a Zoom. It didn't cost you a penny to be informed, to be able to have a knowledge on something that you have no idea it worked that way, right? So before you go and assume that life insurance is too expensive, or that it's only important when you die and it's only good for when people pass away, there's so many things within life insurance that a lot of people have no idea that exists on there. There's an income that can be generated from life insurance via a disability or via a cash value growth. You know,
Explain that.
uh,
The disability. How does that happen?
so permanent life insurance and also universal policies will have a chronic care option inside policy. That chronic care option, if you got sick or injured and you go 90 days where you cannot do two daily functions of human activities, such as toileting and bathing, right? If you went 90 days like that and you get to the 91st day and you're still like that, obviously your agent should know this when that incident took place. So that way the clock starts ticking. So now, day 91, I'm on my calendar because that's the way I operate. I put everything on my calendar. I'm calling you, Ron. How you doing? You still in the same situation? Okay, let's submit that claim. We submit that claim. It take 2 to 3 weeks to get approved based on your cooperation and your doctor and all that stuff. So because there's going to be, you know, all the records that would show that you're still within that condition, and then now you can trigger up to $11,000 in New Jersey on a monthly basis that you can get as an income tax free for a period of 50 to 25 months. It all depends on what your policy
Wow.
chosen when you apply. You can also trigger a supplemental income, ins- um, supplemental income within the future that you can choose even before you retire. That can be coming from the dividends that you accumulate over the years. You
Wow.
can choose 10 years, 15 years, 20 years,
Now,
depending on how long you can choose, and it's all tax free.
Will, with
One thing that I don't know if you knew, life insurance is tax free. So when I deliver a death claim, I delivered 11 death checks, death claims since I've been here 7 years. Those people did not pay one penny in tax to the government.
wow. Well, I heard something, and I did. That's what I was alluding to a little bit about the different things with life insurance in the real estate industry. I heard that there are individuals who are able to purchase investment properties with life insurance. Did you ever hear anything like that? How does that work? And like, how is that possible?
Absolutely. Like, so here's the thing, life insurance can be very powerful for many, many things. So you can open up a permanent life insurance with, whole life, or you can open up a universal life insurance. Universal can be exposed to the market, whole life has no exposure to the market. So those two policies accumulate cash value via dividends. Now you can use your dividends, borrow against the dividends, or withdraw those dividends. And instead of borrowing money from a bank, you can borrow from yourself or take the money out of the policy for yourself and utilize that money for a purchase of a property.
So you're putting a
So,
lot more in that type of policy, but
oh,
putting a lot more
absolutely.
money. Okay, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, you can definitely design it your way. There's policies that you can pay up front. You say, well, I want $100,000. How much insurance can I buy? First, we put you through underwriting. They say, Ron, you can buy 150,000 with that. It's paid for life. Not only that, you get interest on the money you bring in, and then you get the dividends that will grow. You get to pay the tax on the interest within the first, 5 years of that. Let's say you chose a 5-year plan. So we'll take that 100,000. We'll pay 20,000 a year per per year for the protection. The first,
Oh, I see how it works now. Yeah, yeah. Now you can use that 20 or whatever it is. Use that, start accumulating that, and use that as a down payment, and you still have that same money that's still in the life insurance. How long does it stay in there? For the 30
stay
years?
in there, stay in there for as long as you want it to stay. As long as you don't surrender the life insurance, you can borrow up to 90% of it without without you know surrendering the policy.
That's interesting. So if somebody has, hypothetically, they have 100 grand, and they find out how much life insurance they could buy with 100 grand. The life insurance will pay dividends on that 100 grand every month.
Well, the life insurance pays dividends depending on the company too, because
Okay.
you want to make sure the company you're dealing with is mutual if you're talking dividends. The dividends are equal to a return of premium. Dividends are not guaranteed. That's something very important to know. They're not guaranteed. But you look at the company's history, and for example, our company has been paying out dividends for over 168 years. And every year they declare the dividends. Last year in December, we declared 2.2, no, not 2.2, I'm sorry, 2.5 billion in dividends. That money gets distributed amongst every client that has a dividend driven solution or contract.
Wow.
So your dividends can go up and down depending on the company's performance.
Wow. Hey, well, man, I appreciate this whole conversation today, man. This is exactly what I was looking for. A very
Listen,
informative episode. I appreciate that.
I've been waiting for this moment for a while, but I'm someone that I rather I get approached by someone because they feel that I can bring value to their lives than me having to like poke on someone to get to listen. Right? There's something that I owe to those that I care and love. I'm pretty sure you and I have conversations in the past, and everyone that knows me knows that I'm gonna make sure you know what I can do for you. Because the last thing I want is for a conversation to be taking place among friends or family and say, Will knew this and Will had the ability to do this for Ron, but he never talked to Ron about this. Ron can never say, Will never talk to me about this because you and I have these conversations in the past, right?
Right.
Or at least I offered the opportunity, right? But here we are. I'm more about the impact in the lives that giving me the opportunity than any type of commission that I can make from the job that I'm being paid to do. Because at the end of the day, the opportunity that you've given me today will maybe touch one person out of whoever watches this. That one person, it's someone that didn't know about what we talk about today until they saw this, right? So that impact is crucial to me. I do everything that I do is all on impact. If I cannot bring value to your life, I don't deserve to be a part of your life.